We haven't done this for a long time, so I forgot.
Come on.
Seriously. I wanted to make her nervous.
Hi.
So I wonder if Mr. Parent has his then.
Has what? Oh, good point. His is missing and that one's missing.
I was in Logan Township Committee last night. They don't have, they have none of that. I mean,
Any of this?
none of it. All they do is they sit a little further apart than normal.
Oh, well, okay,
Right.
that's why I didn't know where.
Wow.
I think that they, I guess they were wearing masks.
Even she wants to be here.
That's not that one over on my side.
Mary wants close to you.
I know.
Nice.
I tried to send you a response, but then I showed up to take a draft, so I just didn't know whether I went.
Oh, yeah,
That's tomorrow. Yes.
oh, okay. I'll send it. I don't think I know.
It's with the link recommended.
Yeah. So anybody would want to jump in on that.
You know, unless you want to get a head start on something, you don't have to do the whole thing. How you been, Mayor?
Been well. How about you? Your wife? Cindy? Good. Hey, should I go turn the lights on?
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
take
get
care
ready
of
to do that now.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Well, there's certain uses
Oh.
that
Sharon, can you turn the lights on,
really
please?
aren't that much different in my opinion. A warehouse or a what if you have a plant that's still can.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a problem.
Ah.
You have vagrant tenants.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and any other manufacturing process?
We got a guy in here talking.
Yeah. We've had several people.
He's brother of
one of those nights, you know, you get a call, I got a call right now to deal with right away. I said, oh,
Yeah.
I got an obligation.
You wanna do him, it's
I'll
okay.
see if he
Let him
wants
know.
to. I'm okay with that, sir.
Okay. Let me know when the gate opens up, Mike.
Yeah. It's all good.
Lord.
It's all good. Oh, Gina's not here for the countdown. She knows exactly how many days we have left. We're
Yeah.
meeting. Are we good? He's good to do it.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, we got it.
Yeah. That's bad.
That's going the best. Yes, ma'am. Okay. They are, sir. They're your certification of funds. They were given to Commissioner Thomas. Out of state? Maybe we do. I haven't checked yet. But they're yours.
Got him. Thank you.
Yes, you may. Let me see. I call your wife and you went to what? So we're on live on everything today, so you know.
Hmm.
She shut them off. She shut them off
I know, we have 3 minutes in the meeting.
to turn them on.
Turned it up.
Come in.
Okay, let's go. Today is the 18th. I haven't heard anything. I go to, okay. I haven't heard anything from Rob or anything, and usually hear somebody else, so I'm assuming they're not having it.
Oh, man.
So June 1st is our next one?
June 2nd. It's on a Wednesday. I forget why.
Hey, how are you? Good.
I don't know, something's going on June
June
1st.
1st is something.
Commissioner stuff begins the 10th or something, I'm thinking. It's not intense anything.
You're not special.
Yeah.
What's
Maybe
happening?
watch.
Regina, do you know why the Wendy's not going to be on Tuesday? It's going to be on Wednesday of next
Because the
week.
election. No, the election is the 8th. I have to double check with Mike.
Yeah, nice tan there, lady. Looking good.
Maybe when the scheduling is done, they thought the election was going to be on.
That's probably why it's done. I'm gonna have to double check.
Because that gets done.
It seemed to me she said something about there was some type of
But we'll leave it on Wednesday. If we
meeting or
announce it
something
Wednesday, we can just leave it on Wednesday.
first, but I'll have to find out about that. It's usually the election. That's what I thought, so I gotta double check, because I just noticed that today too.
Is the election usually the first Tuesday?
It's the first Tuesday after the first Monday.
It's the Tuesday after the first
First
Monday,
Monday of the month, so
which would make this one unusual.
on the 8th, yeah.
Getting closer to you every meeting. I'm gonna be sitting on you.
Regina. It's good to see Mr. Smith here.
Get closer every meeting.
I don't hear that very often. I'd like to hear from you, give me a family visit.
That's good. It's just enough. I just don't want to feel like I was in their faces.
Oh.
Gentlemen. What a gentleman.
Thanks. Thank you.
Want me to do a joke, act joke?
Joe's feelings are hurt.
okay? You all right?
As long as it's not all red.
Brock, your microphone's off too. Your microphone's off.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Millville agenda for regular session meeting, May 18th, 2021 at 7 p.m. I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Santiago,
Here.
Commissioner Pepitone. Here. Vice Mayor Parent,
Here.
Commissioner Udalvis.
Here.
Commissioner Cooper.
Here.
I'd like to call Pastor Steve Harris to give the invocation and salute to the flag. Welcome back, Pastor. Can we all stand, please?
Okay, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you, Lord, and just give you all the honor and glory. We thank you for this evening and this meeting. I thank you, Lord, for the city. And I know, Lord, that you have plans for it. You have great plans for it. And I pray that tonight, Lord, the business that the commission will do, Lord, will glorify you, will help the city. People will work together. And I believe, Lord, there is a new thing happening. And I believe, Lord, that as we move through COVID and we move through this season, there are going to be new opportunities, Lord, for us to get involved and serve. And I ask, Lord, tonight that maybe hearts will be touched, that people will be inspired and say, I need to help instead of complain. I pray, Lord, that the things that will transpire here tonight, Lord, will move this city forward. And we ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor Steve. You may all be seated. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975. Was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by statute. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Madam Clerk, are there any review changes to the agenda?
No, Mr. Mayor, but I would like to announce the meeting guidelines during COVID.
Very good.
Please wear a mask at all times covering your nose and mouth. All persons attending, please try to maintain 6-foot social distancing from others if possible. Persons attending the meeting that commuted together or live in the same household may sit next to each other. Please address the commissioners at the podium during the public comment portion of the meeting only. If you have touched the microphone or podium while speaking, please wipe down with the disinfectant wipes. Hand sanitizer is also available for your use. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, after the meeting is adjourned, please exit the meeting promptly. Only address the commissioners in person after the meeting if it is a time-sensitive matter. Otherwise, please communicate via email or phone call. We appreciate your cooperation during these difficult times.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can we go right into bills, please?
Mr. Mayor, move the bills be paid after properly certified.
Second the motion.
Got a motion and a second, or any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udallis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We now have the public comment on agenda items only. Anyone that would like to go up to the mic, speak on an agenda item, please state your name and your concerns, and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Seeing no one, I close the public comment on agenda items only. Old business, please.
We have no old business, Mayor.
So we'll go right into discussion items. Nothing?
Nothing.
Petitions and letters, please.
We have correspondence received from the New Jersey Department of Transportation informing the City of Millville that it has been selected to receive $900,000 in Transportation Alternatives Set Aside Program funding for the Millyard Riverfront Walk Project.
Mr. Mayor, move be received, filed, and approved.
Second the motion.
Are there any comments?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a quick one. First of all, I want to thank the engineering department
Absolutely.
for putting the application in and the work that you've put in also as mayor of the city. I also want to thank the New Jersey Department of Transportation and the South Jersey Transportation Planning Committee organization. Special thanks to Alan Huff. I think without Alan's support
support. Our competition was with, I believe, in our region, like 13 other municipalities. And through his effort, stand by the city of Millville because of our past experience and the things that we've been able to complete along our river walk program. So we're looking forward to this $900,000 coming into the city. It's always great to know that we're constantly working hard with our people in Trenton and bringing back some of our tax dollars that we happen to have to give to the state. So $900,000 is coming back to the city of Millville, Mayor, so we thank you very much for your effort.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Great job by our engineering. What I'd like to at least tell everyone is this year there was 133 applications that were received, totaling more than $100 million, and the department was able to fund 14 projects based on the availability of funding, and Millville was one of those. So that's a great thing for us. So thank you. Let's see here.
Okay. Commissioner Pepitone,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent,
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Santiago.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We'll go right to reports of commissioners. Commissioner Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And from the Parks Department, we have currently cut 44 properties within the last 2 weeks. Just to name a few: Marina, Morris River Trail, Millville Gardens, American Little League, the soccer fields, Noble Street, Lakeside Sports Complex, Union Lake Park, 25 Airwork, Brown's Gas Station, Babe Ruth, and Governor Stokes Park. This past Saturday, we had an amazing day in Millville. In the morning, we had over 30 volunteers help plant the community garden. We planted tomatoes, cucumbers, herbs, flowers, and so much more. So if you get a chance, stop by the community garden on 4th Street. In the afternoon, we had our first Adopt a Park ribbon cutting ceremony, which was a great afternoon of fun and games, lunch, and community togetherness. A huge shout out to the Youth Love Movement who adopted the park, and we are excited for this new partnership with the city. And we're looking forward to great things as we move forward in our community. Even today, we had 10 Key Club members from the high school do a park cleanup in Corson Park. They had over a dozen bags that they picked up today. It was 10 members picked up over a dozen bags of trash at Corson Park. So we thank them for that. Again, upcoming projects, cut. We're still cutting in full-blown grass cutting season. Upcoming events: Family Fitness in the Park every Thursday in May and in June. We're going to do a family fitness class in Buck Park from 6 to 7 p.m. So bring the whole family and let's get moving. That is a free event. Also going to be holding a second cleanup in the 3rd Ward. We've heard you talk about the cleanliness of the city, so we've been scheduling these cleanups, and this will be the second one in the 3rd Ward on Saturday, May 22nd from 9 to 12. Our starting location will be from the corner of West Foundry Street and Archer Street. Gloves and lunch will be included, so mark your calendars for that cleanup event. Our next craft night will be June 16th. We'll be making spring and summer welcome signs. This class is currently full, but again, please call the rec department and we'll put your name on the waiting list. Something we have fun with every year: the Phillies Home Run Derby. Our annual Home Run Derby will take place Sunday, June 27th, starting at 5 p.m. at Rob Shannon Sports Complex. All boys and girls ages 7 through 12 are welcome. So let's get together and knock it out of the park. Mr. Mayor, with that, moving forward.
Thank you, Commissioner Cooper. Commissioner Pepitone.
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to introduce a program called POP, Problems-Oriented Policing. In this, it's going to be department-wide, community policing initiative. They're helping community members solve problems in their neighborhoods based on their needs and what they perceive to be as their problems. It's going to be a year-long initiative and is expected to start on the date of June 1st. Community walks. Walked and walking paths have been made positive contacts with several homeless people and some struggling with addiction. They walked with the Holly City Development Corporation to promote a community dinner. Walked with CARES and Capital Recovery to connect with individuals who have been administered Narcan the previous week. Connect with recovery centers in America. Recovery centers in Mays Landing and one opening in Camden County. inpatient and outpatient service. Connect with the Cumberland County Prosecutors, ROW, Recovery on Wheels. Once a month, they appear on the lot across the street from City Liquors, usually 2 Wednesdays of the month, and they help people with addictions. Community events, as mentioned earlier by Bruce, the 4th and Vine City Community Garden, they cleaned up and prepped the garden. They walked 5 blocks in each direction and cleaned up trash. Partners, the City of Millville Rec Department, HCDC, Impact Harvest, Shine Ministries, Youth Love Movement. And they built the vegetable beds and planted vegetables. Dock and Foundry Cleanup partnered with the City of Millville Rec Department to clean up the lots surrounding the area. Mobile Food Pantries partners HCDC and the CC Food Bank, Oakview Apartments, and Delsey Gardens. Police Athletic League, flag football. 80 youth signed up, 6 teams, 10 coaches. We will have 1 police officer per team volunteering as an assistant coach. We will be playing at the Old Millville Gardens on Thursday night. National Night Out, August 3rd from 5 to 9. Started meetings and looking for vendors. Will be held on the city field behind Lakeside Middle School. With that, Mayor, thank you. There's also the Millville Pal Fishing event coming this summer. There's going to be quite a few events. And again, I believe Jeannie posted the fishing events on our website. I'll be sure to check with the different locations and the activities that are involved in the Pal Fishing. And with that, Mayor, thank you.
And Commissioner, if I can add something, last Friday, myself and the Administrator, Regina Burke, met with the Chief and Captain Ross. There were several shootings in the 3rd Ward. I received a lot of phone calls that evening, and without hesitation, the Chief met with us the following day. The police department, obviously, we're not going to reveal anything. They didn't reveal anything to me, but they're on it. There's a plan, and unfortunately, we have these individuals that think they can settle their affairs with handguns and injure people. So it was very frightening for a lot of the elderly people that live in the 3rd Ward, and that's why I received those calls. But I informed them that there is a proactive approach by the police department, and I think they have their hands on it, and that's very important. So I wanted to make sure you knew about it.
And with that, I want to add something, Mayor. I wasn't sure to bring that up tonight if you were going to discuss the meeting that you guys had had. It says, shots fired statistical comparison 2016 to 2021. In comparing the calls for services for shots fired and shots fired confirmed for the years 2016 to 2021, the data shows that the city has been consistent in the amount of calls concerning gunfire during the same period of time in these years. Recently, there have been numerous news articles nationwide in which larger cities have experienced an increase in violent crimes as the pandemic restrictions are lifted. This is not the problem that is localized in the city of Millville, but a national issue that law enforcement must address. Although the recent shooting events that took place May 12, 2021 are alarming, the police department took immediate steps to addressing the issue and increased manpower. The police department remains committed to investigating these acts of violence and protecting the citizens of the city. I do have statistics on the shooting. I'm not going to announce them. They are available to people if they're interested in getting that. But thank you for bringing that up as well, Mayor.
You're welcome. Anything else, Commissioner?
That's it. Thank you.
Commissioner
sir.
Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In providing an update of the city's planning board and discussion of the state cannabis legislation and its impact on municipalities, the May 10th Planning Board meeting concluded with a motion of the Planning Board to advertise for a special meeting to take place on Monday, June 7th at 6:30 p.m. via GoToMeeting to specifically discuss the Planning Board's feedback on the Cannabis Regulatory Enforcement Assistance and Marketplace Modernization Act, or CREMA resolution, provided by the city solicitor and approved by the commission on April 20th. Due to the volume of applications at the May meeting, it was determined that the special meeting to be held 1 week prior to the regularly scheduled June 14th meeting would provide the opportunity for the planning board to discuss thoroughly the concept of a permitted use of Class 1 through 4 cannabis licenses in an I-1 general industry zone. As a summary, the CREMA resolution prepared by City Solicitor Brock Russell provides options for possible permitted uses of cannabis facilities in the I-1 general industry zone that are restricted to Class 1 cultivator, Class 2 manufacturer, Class 3 wholesaler, and Class 4 distributor licenses. Mr. Russell provided a draft that omits Class 5 retail and Class 6 delivery licenses that will be discussed more specifically with the Planning Board to either include additional zones, restrict or propose the addition of class licenses, or discuss a municipality's option to opt out. Through Mr. Russell's draft of the resolution, direct retail to consumer is not proposed as a permitted use. As stated previously, this discussion is being utilized to address the responsibility of each municipality to take formal action prior to August 21st, 2021, as per state legislation to define the parameters of a land use ordinance that seeks to include specific uses for cannabis facilities. Inaction by a municipality by August 21st, 2021 results in effectively all zones being permitted for the uses of Class 1 through Class 6 adult use cannabis licenses. During the brief discussion at the May 10th meeting, questions including how a permitted use in the I-1 zone would directly correlate to a permitted use in the I-3 zone, and whether a conditional use would be more suitable than a permitted use in order to place the burden of gaining approval on the applicant or a licensed cannabis cultivator, manufacturer, wholesaler, or distributor to appear before the zoning board. The special meeting is scheduled to be advertised on Friday, May 21st, and the agenda of the special meeting will appear soon on the Planning Board webpage of the city website. The public is encouraged to attend the meeting via GoToMeeting by computer or telephone to provide feedback on Monday, June 7th at 6:30 p.m. With the conclusion of this report, Mr. Mayor, progress.
Thank you, Commissioner Udalvis. Vice Mayor
Mr.
Parent.
Nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just to let you know, Sam Cruz has contacted us. There's no sound on Channel 9. The girls are working on it. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay.
I told them to call Cass, the TV people. They're supposed to be on call in case we have any problems.
Okay, very
So
good.
hopefully
We're working on it. We're
Yeah.
trying to resolve the situation.
We can't, no sound going over?
It's on
No,
YouTube and
It's on
Channel 9,
YouTube,
but
but it's
no,
not on
no
Channel
sound.
9. Channel 9, right?
It's on
No
Channel
sound.
9 and YouTube, but there's no sound. for
Either
some
one,
reason.
it's not on either channel.
It is showing, but the public can't hear it. I even got a text from my husband because he watches the meetings, and he says he can't hear anything.
Well, we keep working on it.
Okay, I just
Sign
wanted to let you know.
Hopefully we'll get there by the end of the meeting. Vice Mayor Parent.
Nothing at this time, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I just got a couple of things. I know I have an email from Megan Shepard and Donald Fairback in reference to COVID vaccine. The county is doing so well with individuals that are being vaccinated, and I think that's the important thing when it comes to the fact that we're going to be able to take these off someday. I don't know. But they're going to be holding a lot of different events where you're going to be able to get a free vaccination, which is an awesome thing. So, hats off to the Cumberland County Health Department for what they're doing. I know that the Holly City Development Corporation and St. Paul's Church at, 3rd and Vine, right? They're putting something together in early June. Same thing to be vaccinated, and I think that's a remarkable thing that within our city we're trying to do the best we can for those who have not been vaccinated. So keep up the good work. With that, I'm good to go. Moving on, Madam Clerk.
The sewer
Oh, I have
report?
Your reports?
Yeah, can I have the sewer report to be received and filed? Now, while you're doing that, go ahead.
Motion to receive and file the sewer report.
Second the motion?
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes?
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
They're staying very busy in the Public Works Department. I will also ask for the Streets and Roads Department report to be received and filed.
Mayor, motion to receive and file the streets and roads report.
Second the motion?
Are there any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes?
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes. We'll go to ordinances on second reading, please.
I have an ordinance amending the City of Millville Code, Chapter 17, Fire Department, Article 1, Section 17-6, Composition of the Fire Department, to increase the maximum age for the appointment of volunteer firefighters from 55 to 60.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this proposed ordinance on second and final reading.
Second motion.
So we have a motion and a second. This is open to the public concerning the ordinance amending by the City Millville Code, Chapter 17, Fire Department, Article 1, to increase the maximum age of appointment of volunteer firefighters from 55 to 60. If anybody has any comments or concerns, please step up to the mic, state those concerns, and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Seeing no one, I close ordinance on second reading number 1 for the public hearing. Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, I have an ordinance on second reading establishing a dog park in the city of Millville, which shall consist of a fence-enclosed area within the confines of Lot 127 and Block 236, known as 1414 Canal Street.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this proposed ordinance on second and final reading.
Second the motion?
Again, we have an ordinance on second reading with a motion and a second in reference to our dog park in the city of Millville that will consist of a fence enclosed around and confines of the address of 1414 Canal Street. Anyone in the public that would like to make a comment, please step up to the mic, state your name and concerns, and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Seeing no one, I close ordinance number 2 on the dog park in the city of Millville. Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Do we have discussions on that at this time? Can I make a comment on?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, I just.
You got to be quick with me because I'm moving along.
Yeah, see, man.
I'm moving
I just
along.
want to say, Bruce, kudos to see this finally come to fruition. A lot of people don't understand the excitement that a dog park can create. I mean, I have a place in Wildwood, and it's a very, very popular area where individuals come, they meet, they get to know, and it's another feather that's added to the city of Millville that we have. I think that makes us a little bit special. I know a lot of people who I've heard talk about it are excited about seeing it come to fruition, and I'm excited to see, like I said, that extra feather added to our cap. So great job, Commissioner.
Thank you. I just wanted to reiterate what Commissioner Pepitone said. It's been a long time coming. We didn't just start planning this 6 months ago. So this has been in the works for the last few years.
A lot of research on your
part. A lot of
part.
research. We've actually, like you mentioned, we've been in talks with the Wildwood mayor with their dog park, and we had a lot of research done with them, and then he gave us a lot of good pointers. So finally, we've had this come to fruition. I'm excited about it. A lot of people in the city are excited about it, so I'm happy. And thank you all for your support.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, I have an ordinance on second reading, amending the City of Millville Code, Chapter 8, Animal Control, Section 2, Definitions, to broaden the definition of owner.
So this is an ordinance on second reading, ordinance number 3, amending the City of Millville Code, Chapter 8, Animal Control. Anyone that has any comments or concerns concerning this, please step up to the mic, state your name and your concerns, and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Seeing no one, I close ordinance on second reading number 3. Are there any comments on this?
Well, I'm going to move to it. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this proposed ordinance on second and final reading.
Second motion.
We got a motion and a second. Are there any comments?
Oh, I'm sorry, no.
Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes, thank you.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes, I was looking at you the whole time,
I'm
Commissioner.
sorry, Mayor, I apologize.
Ordinance is on first reading, please.
Yes, we have an ordinance authorizing an amendment to motor vehicle and traffic regulations. Municipal Code, Article 10, Schedule 21, to add parking reserved for handicapped persons at 333 D Street.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this ordinance on first reading with final consideration given on June 2nd after due publication as provided by law.
Second motion.
Motion is second. Are there any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, I have an ordinance on first reading authorizing amendment to motor vehicle and traffic regulations. Municipal Code, Article 10, Schedule 21, to add parking reserved for handicapped persons at 515 East Vine Street.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this ordinance on first reading with final consideration given on June 2nd after due publication as provided by for law.
Second motion.
Motion is second. Are there any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. I have an ordinance on first reading, bond ordinance authorizing purchases of a fire truck and police patrol sport utility vehicles and appropriating the sum of $1,720,000 to pay the cost thereof, to authorize the issuance of $1,634,000 of bonds to finance the appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this ordinance on first reading with final consideration given on June 2nd after due publication is provided for by law.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Go ahead.
First, I would like to state that I provided my questions to Commissioner Pepitone and CFO Marcella Shepard on Friday, May 14th, after my review of the agenda, to provide my steadfast view of the concept of including SUVs with a period of usefulness of 5 years in a bond ordinance, especially one that is included with a ladder truck that the city is responsible for replacing every 20 years to ensure compliance as a first response vehicle before it must be retired to the status of a backup emergency response vehicle. My view was articulated and explained previously at the August and September 2020 meetings of the Commission when various drafts of a bond ordinance were heard, beginning with an ordinance including a $1.5 million ladder truck and 5 SUVs for the police department and 2 SUVs for the fire department. My email to Commissioner Pepitone was acknowledged via reply email from the Commissioner today. As acknowledged by Commissioner Pepitone, my email sought to reiterate my previous views and was provided to respectfully advise of my disagreement with the bond ordinance and was respectfully noted by Commissioner Pepitone. To be clear, my disagreement with the draft of this bond ordinance is not due to the ladder truck or the need of the fire department to purchase this necessary vehicle, but due to the concept that I believe that the Commission should only seek to address the ladder truck as the Commission should have done in August and September of 2020. Chief Lippincott, who has also provided an email to explain to the Commissioners the importance of this vehicle, is a responsive leader of the department who not only provides the necessary supporting documentation to the CFO and Commission, but also maps out the capital expenditures that must be made each year to maintain compliance. An example of this professionalism that was demonstrated by Public Works, Parks and Public Property, and the Fire Department was the Excel spreadsheet that the CFO utilized to prioritize capital improvement projects and purchases that are incorporated into bonds in August 2020. This was the instance in which the tab for the police department and vehicles was not completed to include any vehicles, let alone the vehicles that were financed in 2020 and are now seeking to be included in this bond ordinance less than a year later. It is imperative that I make this clear, that my concern for the manner through which the Commission has not prioritized the fire department's most important request, but instead continues to fulfill every request for more vehicles for the police department that diminish the average period of usefulness of the entire bond to 9.42 years, since the police SUVs have an expected life of 5 years. As an observer of this process, I recognize that the Commission, having removed the ladder truck from the bond ordinance in 2020 to only include the 7 SUVs, is the exact opposite of what fiscal policy determines is responsible. From a personal perspective, it is also time for this Commission to recognize that this bond should be dedicated solely to the fire department and the ladder truck, a department and a priority that I deem has been substantially overlooked by this Commission, who has sought to not deny a single SUV to the police department but would delay a purchase of a necessary ladder truck to the fire department from August 2020 to May 2021. I also forwarded 2 questions to the CFO regarding this item. This evening, I also received various responses from the CFO pertaining to those questions, for which the explanations I would also seek to clarify this evening. And also noting the net debt that's included in the supplemental debt statement, it is clear that the city still maintains the 1.464% that is still in compliance to issue a bond. And my questions continued as follows. First, what would be the effect of only including the ladder truck in the bond ordinance on the average period of usefulness? Having inquired this afternoon regarding this specific question, I did learn from our CFO, Marcy Shepard, that the 9.42 was diminished only from the 10 years that the ladder truck would be qualified for. Fire equipment does not qualify for 10 years, but a ladder truck and vehicles would constitute the 10 years. Therefore, the 9.42 years of the average period of usefulness has only been diminished by that small percentage by including those vehicles. Secondly, how many vehicles, SUVs or otherwise, were included in the 2021 budget of the police department? I know that our CFO clarified the vehicles that may have been included, but also mentioned that of the operating expenses to meet the budget for 2021, that those items were in fact removed. Additionally, did the decision to delay the inclusion of certain positions in the police department until September 2021 to assist with the budget, as Commissioner Pepitone had described, also create an opportunity to diminish the number of vehicles needed to be included in the budget this year? And furthermore, if the previous ordinance in 2020 was less than a year ago, and a new 5-year capital plan has not been completed via Excel spreadsheet or dispensed to the Commission, what are the chances that we have addressed all requests for consideration in a capital bond ordinance this year? It is with great disappointment this evening that I must vote against this bond ordinance due to the inclusion of the 3 SUVs based on best practice of fiscal policy as I perceive them to be, when I wholeheartedly believe that the fire department has long required support in the form of financing the ladder truck. Chief Lippincott, I would like to thank you for your continued professionalism and leadership in the fire department and as an overall leader within the city of Millville and its collective departments. Should the Commission have drafted a bond ordinance solely to support your department in the purchase of the ladder truck this evening, I would have wholeheartedly supported this item. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Dalovas. Are there any other comments?
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to point out that in Commissioner Dalovas' address, it seems as though she feels that the fire department has been, for lack of a better word, neglected. I have a fine relationship with Chief Lippincott. When he and I discuss the things that are needed, we have a discussion. We come to a realization of how we're going to move ahead. And I just want to get it out there that, again, I think our relationship is a great one. I think you could call him and ask him personally to see that he does feel supported. We did have issues that we had serious conversations about. I think he understands that I'm extremely supportive of the fire department, and will continue to be. As for the vehicles, I understand Ashley's perspective of the fact that the bonding is going to go beyond the actual length of the use of the vehicles. There's different ways to get vehicles. One of them is to put them in the actual taxes, the increased taxes, or offset that through bonding. It is permitted to have these vehicles bonded, so we chose to go that route to leave the to allow a lesser impact on the increase in taxes for our citizens. I believe I spoke with Chief, and he said we have some vehicles that date back to 2001 that we still use in different ways. There's no way not to purchase these vehicles. It's a necessity beyond anything. These vehicles don't stop. When one officer gets out, another officer gets in, and they begin to be used for patrolling. So while I understand Commissioner Dalovas' concern of the appearance of the fact that these vehicles may outlast, or the cost of the vehicles may outlast the actual time that their payment is going to be made, and I'm not even sure if that's the case, if some of the monies from the bond are applied to the cost of the vehicles for an earlier time, or is it all one payment?
Marcy, you want to use the microphone, please?
Thank you, Marcy.
I know the public can't on TV, but the people here in the audience.
I'm sorry.
I think maybe.
Right now, the bond ordinance is going to be funded through a note.
Okay.
Then once I have around $10 to $11 million, because it's more attractive to the buyers, the larger the amount, then I go out for permanent bonding. The notes mature in 1 year. That really doesn't matter. I pay a flat interest on what, for example, we just had a note sale, and my interest rate, I believe, was 3%. And so the total cost, they gave me a premium on top of that. The total cost is going to be $25,000 for having borrowed the money for 1 year. But when I go out for permanent financing, I believe they take all the bond ordinances that's going to be included in that bond, and that's how they come up with the payments that you're going to be making every year. There's a calculation that they make based on what's included in those bonds, and I believe what they do is the ones with the lesser useful life is included in the first year payment, the second year payment. It's structured by QSIP numbers when they sell it, and it's going to have like different deadlines, and that's how they come up with how much I'm going to be paying. As far as the percentage of debtness, I think it's 1.4. Come July 1st, all my principal payments are due, which is going to be $2.4 million. That should reduce that debt down to 1.2.
Excellent.
But according to the budget that we just adopted, they had a 6-year capital plan. If you go there, you will see that there's other departments that also requested other items. I was planning on doing another bond ordinance later on in the year to include those other items. The reason I did this one is because the fire chief really wanted his truck to be ordered right away, because it's going to take, I believe, over a year for him to get that truck. And I included the vehicles because the police chief was also calling me daily saying that he has a lot of vehicles that are out of commission, crashed, or whatever, and he needed these vehicles. The other departments didn't contact me, so I just wanted to get this out so that they could get what the department heads feel that they need. That's my job, is when they call me and they tell me that they need something, I try to help them.
Thank you. I thank you for taking the time to come up, Marcy. But again, I understand Ashley's full support of the ladder truck. She's been an added supporter of the fire department, and I also understand her feelings of not seeing these vehicles placed on the bond due to the fact of her feelings that the usefulness of the vehicles will occur before the payment of the vehicles. So thank you for your clarity and presentation of that. And with that, I just want to include those comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
No.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Abstain.
Motion carries. Okay, I have an ordinance amending the City of Millville Municipal Code, Chapter 33, Licenses and Permits, Article 16, Reserved, and Article 17, Street Vendors, to establish new regulations governing the operation of food trucks and trailers within the city.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this ordinance on first reading with final consideration given on June 2nd after due publication as provided for by law.
Second the motion?
We have a motion and a second. Are there any comments?
Yes, Mayor. I'm excited about this because I like food trucks, and I asked Bruce about the
No way.
situation. I'm sorry?
I said, no way.
No, this is exciting because the ordinance that we had in place limited the ability for the city to have
you're right.
food trucks come in on different events and stuff like this, and this opens it up wide to give, again, our community such a diverse opportunity. If we want to have like a cultural day focusing on Mexican culture or African American culture, we can bring in food trucks that focus on those different food types. And a lot of times food brings around joy and happiness, and I think it creates a great environment. So thank you for looking. I would have never thought that, but I'm excited to see that we're opening up the city a little bit more to different opportunities for the community to get together and stop laughing, you guys.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say, well, that's what it's all about. It is all about opening up the city to this opportunity. We've talked to a lot of vendors who are interested in having food trucks here, but they really didn't know how to go about it. They didn't really have an avenue of business to be able to be a part of it in the city. And we'd like to see more of that happen in the city. So I had a discussion with our solicitor, and our solicitor really looked at a lot of different towns and how they were doing things, so we came up with something that we think would be really useful for the city of Millville. So it's not really opening up the floodgates for everybody to come and have food trucks. And again, this is not something that's going to take away from our restaurants that are here doing, and the restaurants that have hung with us through COVID. So we want to support you, but this is not to take away. This is to add to. Solicitor, would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, I think it probably would be accurate to say that this updates what our code provides. Our code does allow presently food trucks, but I think that
the ordinance really brings it up to the current standards and practices where we see food trucks at events. They're a major thing now. And I think the other thing about it is that I think it gives people a chance to get into the restaurant business that maybe otherwise would not be able to do so because, it costs a lot of money to open a restaurant. There's a lot of requirements involved with that. And yet I think it's probably a lot easier to have a food truck and to learn the trade that way. So we think it's a positive use for that reason as well.
Excellent. Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Sandiaga?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Consent agenda items, please.
All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the Board of Commissioners and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a governing body member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Resolution item 1, authorizing adjustments into tax and utility records.
That's it?
And resolution authorizing the tax collector to execute the assignment of said tax sale certificates set over to Xeon Investments LLC, who has offered to take assignment of said tax sale certificates as pursuant to NJSA 54:5-113 in the amount of $75,385.16, including interest as prescribed by the law.
Motion to approve consent agenda items.
Second the motion.
Motion and a second. Are there any comments? No comments are needed, so roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Sandiaga?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolutions, please.
I have a resolution authorizing award of bid for CY 2021 Water Department supplies to the following vendors: Core and Main, Berlin, New Jersey; Brereton Supply Company, Edison, New Jersey; and Ferguson Waterworks, Lakewood, New Jersey, to furnish the City of Millville with water department supplies in the amount of the itemized bid in Schedule A.
With that, Mr. Mayor, I have a certification availability of funds from Marcellus Shepherd on the amount of itemized bids in Schedule A. Move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second the motion.
We got a motion and a second. Are there any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Sandiaga?
Yes.
Motion carries. I have a resolution authorizing a shared service agreement between the City of Millville and the Cumberland County Improvement Authority for architectural services for the purpose of determining the feasibility and cost of correcting the curtain wall system which is failing at the Millville Municipal Complex, and such other projects as the parties may agree, pursuant to an addendum, in the amount of $25,000.
And with that, Mr. Mayor, I have a certification of funds from our Chief Financial Officer, Marcellus Shepherd, in the amount of $25,000. I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second the motion.
Motion and a second with certification of funds. Are there any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Sandiaga?
Yes.
Okay, I have a resolution authorizing a redevelopment agreement with SM Millville Holdings, LLC, for property located at 815 North High Street, Block 295, Lot 1.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second the motion.
You have a motion and a second. Are there any comments?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I'll defer to our city solicitor, Brock Russell, to provide an update to both the commissioners and the public.
This was a gas station that was renovated. It's a redevelopment project, so we need a redevelopment agreement. It's not really that complicated because it's such a small project. Nevertheless, because it's in a redevelopment zone, we have to have, one of the things you have to have is a redevelopment agreement. And so we actually already went to closing on this property, but we needed to get the redevelopment agreement done, and that was, we put the finishing touches on it, so it's ready to be approved by the Board of Commissioners tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Russell.
One question. Is it going to be?
Yes.
Motion and a second. Do we have any questions?
Sorry, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Is it going to be a gas station again? Is that what you're looking to build?
Mr. Russell, I know that the improvements that are to be made to the gas dispensers, to the convenience store in excess of $175,000 according to the redevelopment agreement. Did you want to provide more comment about the end use?
I think it's still going to be a gas station
Well, like
and a
open park.
convenience store.
Cool.
Yeah.
Be nice to see something there again.
Very good.
Nice job.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent,
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Santiago.
Yes.
Motion carries.
New business, please.
Motion to authorize the following special event on public lands application. Hope Day Compassion Event, sponsored by the Millville First Assembly of God on Saturday, June 5th, 2021, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's located at the lot between Archer, Foundry, Dock, and Arnold Streets.
So move.
Second the motion?
We have a motion and a second. Are any comments? I believe this is the old Millville Gardens complex.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent,
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Santiago.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
I have a motion to authorize the city clerk to advertise for bids for the project known as Orange Street Elevated Water Storage Tank Rehabilitation. Bids are due to be received by the City of Millville Purchasing Board at 12 South High Street on June 8th, 2021 at 10 a.m.
Mr. Mayor, motion to authorize as advertised for bids.
Second the motion.
Got a motion and a second. Are there any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent,
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Santiago.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. We've now reached the public comment portion of our meeting. Anyone would like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name, and address your concerns. And please limit your comments to approximately 5 minutes.
Used before Gemini.
Where's it?
Okay. So, good evening,
Okay.
everyone. Pastor Steve Harris,
Pastor
long time no
Steve.
see, from Restoration House. A couple things I just wanted to just bring up real quick. I'm very grateful that Hope Day is happening again. That was a big thing a few years back, and of course, you know, everything that went on, it was a disappointment to kind of really scale down things. But Restoration House will be there with Mrs. M's Hooked on Books. We're going to be giving books away to children, young adults. Tom and Judy McFarland have done this along with Tamara Hunter Ransom for the last few years, and it's been a big success. So I think they're collecting books, and you see them on Facebook if you'd like to make a donation for it. Believe it or not, a lot of children, they're looking for hardback literature. And even though we live in a digital age, they still want books. So it's a good thing. All right. Second thing is, it warms my heart. I want to congratulate you, Commissioner Cooper, for getting the dog park off the ground. I don't know if you guys know this or not. I know, Mary, you and I have talked about this, but in year one of our church, we were part of something called Peace in the City. It's actually where I met Commissioner Parent. And one night we were talking about what can we do to help build morale in the city, do something outside the box, and the idea of a dog park came up. And Mary Messick was a part of that. And for several months we were meeting in our living room talking about plans. And unfortunately it never came to fruition, but the ball got started. And this has nothing to do with who's taking credit for what or whatever. What I'm saying is that I think that the more we talk about ideas, and eventually they'll come to fruition somehow. And I'm just encouraging everyone here and anyone listening that if we got ideas we need to bring to the table, you know, this is the time. Because I think more than ever, we need to really rally with each other and around each other. So that was the next thing. The final thing is this. I know that this does not lay at your feet, okay? But understanding that this is something that's been percolating in my head for months, and you guys have heard me talk about it before. But besides California, there are a lot of people leaving New Jersey. It's no dark secret. And with that, I know it's going to affect us a lot. And what I'm concerned about is our business plan. I've been concerned about it for a long time, and I'm coming back with it again. What are we doing to try, what's a plan to attract new business? I'm not saying nothing's here, because I have heard some good things. But I want to know what is the new vision for Millville going forward with infrastructure and trying to build something new here? So in other words, I remember hearing the mayor of Logan Township, who I really respect his speech that he did that one night at Peace in the City, and I loved his plan. Frank
Yes.
Minor. And I don't know if you still talk with the mayor or whatever, but I love what he did. And, you know, he put a plan together and said we're going to build infrastructure around what we want to do, and basically knew what he was going after, had the right people in place, and, you know, from a business perspective, and they went after it. They made it business friendly. They made it easy to get, you know, to do business with. They knew where they were going with it, and it was a longer term, you know, that they were looking at. They weren't just looking at 2 years, 1 year down the road. They were talking 5, 10, 20 years. And so that's what has been on my heart for a while. I mean, I'm always going to be chasing the spiritual temperature of the city, but we're not here to talk about that. But the second thing right behind it is business, because then you talk about ratables and you talk about police and fire and everything else. It's, you know, no dark secret either. We have really never really recovered from manufacturing, you know, with Wheaton and everything leaving. I mean, we've been in a tailspin for years. And I'm not putting this blame on anyone. I'm just, you know, stating the obvious. So where do we go from here? And I think we have a grand opportunity coming out of COVID slowly but surely, that I think if we position ourselves, you know, to do something different and start saying, hey guys, you want to come here? We still have lower taxes, believe it or not, than obviously North Jersey and so forth. We do have advantages. So, you know, I know my time is about up, but I just want to throw it out there that, you know, if there is a plan, I'd love to see it. If there isn't a plan, you know, what are we doing to try to do that? And if you need my opinion for what it's worth, I'll be more than happy to make myself available. Restoration House is here to help. You guys know that. We're trying to get back on our feet. We've been meeting in our living room for the last year. It's been devastating in a lot of ways, but let me tell you, it's built a lot of camaraderie. So we're here to help. We're not here to criticize. We want to be part of the change. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Steve.
Mary Messick here of Millville. What I'd like to say is, based on what you had mentioned earlier, Mayor, yeah, we've had a couple of shootings within the area and stuff, and through that, our police department, and I've heard through people out there, along with comments that have been sent to me through Facebook and all, that they believe that our police department has done an excellent job in getting out there and everything else. And I can speak personally because not too long ago, my sister-in-law's fiance's tire got shot out while he turned the corner just to go to work. The police department, the officers that came out, not only did they take care of the situation, but they also came to my house to get my sister-in-law to take her over to where the car was. And they were even nice enough and took the messed up tire and put the donut on the car for us. And there's other incidences of where our fellow officers have been doing their own time after their shift, spending time with the young youth in our town. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I believe at one of these commission meetings, or at several of these commission meetings, these officers need to be recognized. They need to know that the public is standing behind them, and I thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Anyone else? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No one else? I close the public portion of our meeting. Comments of commissioners. Commissioner Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pastor Harris, I am excited about Hope Day as well. We didn't have it last year. And earlier we were talking about it not even being on the level where it's going to be at now. So we were talking about just pretty much driving by, right? So now, with the restrictions lessening, hopefully we'll have a really nice Hope Day. It's a really nice event. It's really good to see the kids come out there. 2 years ago, we played some games out there, and the kids really enjoyed it. So there's really nice, clean fun out there. Also, in the dog park, we had talked about that, you and I, a couple of years ago as well. So even though we haven't seen each other for a year because of COVID, we still made that happen. So again, as you talk about ideas, and we keep talking about those ideas, we can bring those to fruition. So I agree with you. One thing that I hear when I'm in the community is I hear people saying a lot that there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to do. And I disagree. I believe our future starts with a clear vision, as what you said. A clear vision of what we want our city to look like and how we like to see what we believe is important for our citizens in our surrounding areas. So more specifically from the parks and public property perspective, it's been my goal from the start, from the day we were sworn in. It's been my focus within my realm of leadership to see a city more unified. I'm sure we all hope for that, to see a city more unified, and a city that has opportunity and options for positive engagement across the spectrum. What is that spectrum? That spectrum being all cultures, all races, all neighborhoods within the city of Millville. So we believe from the Parks Department, including myself, Samantha Cruz, and my outstanding, hardworking staff, that those ideas of opportunity are only getting better as we continue to grow and we move throughout this presence in the city. So what I want to do for you this evening is to ask you to take advantage of these opportunities. We mentioned Hope Day. We mentioned the dog park. Now, there's also the community garden on 4th Street, and if you haven't had a chance to see it yet, go by there. Take a look at it. Have you guys been down there? It's really nice. It's a really nice project down there. Get involved, and you'll see that people really like being a part of that. Again, the dog park, which is going to be named, you ready for this, Joe? The Thunderbolt Bark Park.
All right.
Like that? You guys like that?
Yeah.
Thunderbolt Bark
Orange and
Park.
blue.
Got it. You like that?
Like it.
All right. There's also city cleanups. So if we have not been to your area, we will be there soon. As you can see, we're going back out to the 3rd Ward. Why? Because we heard you. We heard you say the city needs a cleanup. So let's get out there and let's be a part of the solution and work it together and do the cleanups in these certain areas throughout the city. Also, you have the 4th of July celebration, family fun and fireworks at Union Lake. I know there were some that were mad at us that we went out to the Motorsports Park and that they didn't really like that, including you, Mary. And so we have it back. So it's going to be back at Union Lake, and we're excited about that. There's going to be food trucks, vendors, music, and again, fireworks. What else? Free exercise classes. Take a part of this. Free exercise classes featuring Zumba and yoga. Yoga's big right now. Commissioner Peppertone likes to get there and turn himself into a pretzel. You got to come out just to see that.
We're going to sell tickets for that one, brother.
I just had a picture of that.
You got a picture. You get the visual on that.
Are you averting your eyes?
Craft nights. We have had several craft nights at the Holly City Fitness Center with instruction and production of some really nice crafts. Again, just come. It's free. All the supplies, all the entertainment, all free. National Night Out. We talked, Commissioner Pepitone, you mentioned that?
Yes, I did.
National Night Out coming up August 3rd with the police department. Our second annual. That's going to be major. Pastor Harris, you're going to be there, right? National Night Out? All
You
right.
too, Mayor?
Mayor?
I'm in law enforcement. I will not miss it.
He wouldn't miss it for the world. Also, Third Fridays on High Street is still going strong, believe it or not. It really is still going strong, and the leaders on High Street have told us that they're going to be revving that up and making that even better. Now, starting on May 28th, there's going to be Fourth Fridays on downtown, where you're going to have free entertainment in Buck Park throughout the summer with the police department and the parks department working together. Again, number 10, neighborhood pop-ups. I think you would mention this. So there's going to be neighborhood pop-ups of entertainment and food and fun from the police department and the parks department. So things are happening. Things are happening. The question is, do you want to be a part of the positive things that are happening in our city? Do you want to engage, or do you want to talk about what we're not doing? The choice is yours. I hope you choose to be a part of the solution and be a part of the positive vision of our future in the city of Millville. With that, Mr. Mayor, moving forward.
Thank you, Commissioner Cooper.
Thank you.
Very well said. Go ahead.
Mayor, I said mayor, not mayor. I know that you're a law enforcement person. I would have no doubt that you would be there.
Thank
I
you.
would said mayor.
You said Mary?
I meant mayor. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
said
you looked at me, Joe.
I said mayor actually,
We
so I
have
could see how
masks.
you. I got you. But Mary, I want to thank you for the story that you told about putting the donut on. There's a lot of stories that occur out there by our police officers, and they're not known. And unfortunately, we got hit with COVID, and I love your idea of bringing people out. And as we start to loosen up, hopefully through the rest of this commission, we'll be able to do things like that. But our police department is very involved. And one of my things, like Bruce had pointed out when he first came on as a commissioner, one of my points, especially coming from a guidance perspective, we wondered, how's the guidance counselor and the police chief going to work together? And by the grace of God, everything kind of melded pretty well. And community involvement has been one of the key things that I want to see. We're getting more and more to that point. Unfortunately, now we have to watch our budgeting only because if there are issues that go on through shootings and stuff like that, we're going to have to pull some of the fundings to put people on overtime. We've tried to staff and get more officers. The commission, the city has given us the funds to do so. It's very hard to get officers in place. It's not as popular a career as it once was. We often put people in the academies, and they don't end up making it through. So our chief has a lot of things to balance, and I give him a lot of credit. Chief Lippincott, he has everything, a well-oiled machine in the fire department. We communicate somewhat less because there's not the issues that occur there that would occur in the police department. But I mean, I'm grateful for the individuals that I have in public safety to keep the department moving. But you and I, Pastor, had talked about a vision of the city, and I'm glad that you said that. I mean, this commission has had like we had the pandemic that we had to deal with. We had a building that fall down. In fact, the mayor and I even talked about it a little bit. We had a lot of things that were heavy that laid on this commission. We're still here. We're still pushing together. And with the addition of Holly City Development Corp., I think that's going to be a big feather in our cap through economic development. So I'm excited about the future, and I'm glad for all of you who hung in there through the tough times. And we're gonna just keep on pushing to make Millville a better place. With that, Mayor, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Pepin. Commissioner Dollars.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pastor Harris, in response to one of your questions or your comments regarding infrastructure, specifically just providing a report of the department that the planning department and the engineering department has been working very diligently alongside our county planning department and also with the help of our city administrator to facilitate many discussions currently with the NJDEP in regard to the sewer service area. So the county is very enthusiastic about ensuring that the city's plan and sewer service area plan is adopted in order to create opportunities for not only the city of Millville, but also for the county as a collective unit, one of the items that specifically and currently we're addressing. But also, in addition to that, I know that you had mentioned about providing this infrastructure for businesses, which I think is going to be a key component. And it's very interesting and also refreshing to hear in the public format that the public is reaching out regarding wanting to see these improvements. We do know that we will be eligible for federal funding as a municipality, alongside many of our other neighboring municipalities for COVID relief. And as such, for the Board of Commissioners to hear how important it is to be prioritizing those infrastructure projects, possibly water and sewer projects that could help diminish an investor's overall investment, providing some incentives that provide for either pretreatment facilities or at least utilities and infrastructure that are amenable and agreeable to certain business endeavors. Those are the areas in which the city can truly set itself apart from others, and it would be certainly a step in the right direction to see the public embracing those improvements as well as the Board of Commissioners, since they would be capital expenditures, not creating an impact on our budget overall, but providing a very attractive investment opportunity for someone in redevelopment or economic development. So I thank you for the comment this evening. And in addition, Mr. Mayor, just an additional reminder, the Planning Board will be advertising for and hosting the special meeting on Monday, June 7th at 6:30 p.m. as stated during my report to discuss the city's approach to cannabis legislation, and the information will be published to the city website. Regarding the access, I would once again encourage our residents and members of the public to attend and provide their feedback as they've done in previous meetings. With the conclusion of this statement, Mr. Mayor, progress.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Vice Mayor Payne.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pastor Steve, it's always a pleasure, of course. My number one fan through my illness. Pastor Steve on a weekly basis would check on me, and I appreciate that. We won the battle so far, and I appreciate it. And that's personal, but I want to let you know. Economic development is just about everything, folks. There's no question on my mind. We talk about redevelopment. We need to get that done. I'm a firm believer in the infrastructure of a city. I felt that way a number of years ago, invested in infrastructure, and made some major improvements throughout this community. Looking forward to the $7.4 million coming from the state of New Jersey. There'll be some guidelines, because we're not going to get it directly from the federal government like some of the larger municipalities will. We want to have some guidelines the state's going to tell us what we can and cannot do, which is fine with me. But I'm a firm believer in using a large portion of that in infrastructure, water, sewer. It's a need for the community, for economic development, especially in some of our industrial areas. We have to think long-term, not short-term, and I am a believer in long-term planning, as you and I have had these discussions many times. What happens you do now maybe doesn't make sense to the public or to people, but in the long term, the city will benefit from it. We're still looking at downtown High Street. We keep hearing that. What are you doing about it? What's happening there? Went through that a number of years ago. Complaints from the merchants that there's no parking, the sidewalks are horrible, the lighting is crude, you can't park anywhere. We went into a very strong economic development at that time and built the riverfront, all new parking up on Buck Street to help the merchants on High Street with new lighting, curbing, sidewalks. It still wasn't happening. And one primary reason, firsthand knowledge. I shopped at High Street. I went to K&G's and bought my suits and jackets or shirts and ties. Great people to do business with. Or you go to Frank's and get something to wear. You go to Freeman's shoe store back then. And I would stop by and they would say the same thing. Jim, we appreciate what the city did, but people still aren't shopping here. They're going to the mall. And people don't want to hear that. And people who say, what's happening to High Street, maybe you should ask your parents. Where did they shop? Where did they go to buy clothes? What did they do? They went to the mall. And we lost some outstanding businesses on High Street. So what do we do with it in the meantime? What's our direction in the meantime? What's High Street going to look like? Are you going to put a shoe store there? Is anybody going to invest in that? A ladies' apparel store? Will the people in Millville go there and shop? Or a shoe store? You know where they're going to go? They're going to the mall. They go into the mall, and that's what we have to deal with. Not just this administration, but prior administrations, and administration is going to follow us, whoever they are. You know, you have to take a different look at High Street. Will it be a retail community? I don't see that. I see it more as a professional type district, to be quite frank with you. You know, and how do we attract certain businesses on High Street on the professional end of it? Because companies don't need a big office anymore. We've learned a lot through this epidemic. We don't need a big building to hold business. We can work at home. We can work in a smaller office due to the technology that we have. You know, so maybe people will invest in one of those buildings and make it a hybrid. You know, 3 or 4 businesses in there that are professional. We've done it under the Holly City Development Corporation, Steve. You know, we bought a building. We rent the upstairs 4 units to businesses. Small business people utilize those offices because they don't need a big office and a big meeting room that's downstairs, and been very successful in doing that. So maybe we have to rethink. You know, I don't have all the answers. You know, but maybe we just have to rethink about what High Street can be and what we have to do to get to that end of it. There's still places to shop on High Street. You know, I still go to whatever I can go on High Street. Go to the Village on High. You want an experience? Go to the Village on High and look at those little gift shops in there. Just take a walk through there. You know, they got all kind of neat things, you know, that are available to the public. So we have to rethink where we're moving on High Street. But again, I believe you have to go out and invest your dollars in the infrastructure of your community. And I hope with the $7.4 million, whoever's going to make those decisions on the spending of it realizes the importance of your infrastructure, because just don't get helter-skelter with the money, thinking you're going to create a lot of business. How long are they going to be here? Are they going to open? Are they going to close? What are they going to do in the future? But when you do the infrastructure is going to be here to stay, you know, and it's a good selling point. We are unique in Millville. We have a lot of land that's being available at the right price. I feel more confident now. I know Commissioner Udalvis has put together a new group of people that are out there with economic development, that are shakers and movers. They're good people. They care. They're smart. There's no question about that. And I think you're going to hear good things, because we're hearing good things already, what's happening with them from some of the businesses. And I think you're going to see a change. There's no question in my mind. You're going to see a change in the economic development throughout this community in the next few months. So I'm enthused about it. I'm looking forward to the funding from the state of New Jersey. I mean, I'm not going to just have the final decision. It's up to the commissioners up here. But rest assured, I will be monitoring the expenditures in that, in hopes that we look at it in a long-term plan, what we have to do. I know we need water, we need sewer, we need these things done on the infrastructure, because we have property and we don't have the infrastructure there. So how are you going to attract business if you don't have the water and sewer there? You know, it's not going to happen. So we have to think about that. Think long-term, not short-term. I've always felt that way. And I'm not going to change. I'm too old to change. You know that. But I think that's the way we're looking at least I'm looking at, that we're going to do. And I have to keep putting up with Joe over here trying to beat me up. So, progress, Mayor, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. What else is there to say? I think each commissioner has spoken very well tonight on projects that we're about to take on. And I think that's the goal of all of us. So I commend every one of the commissioners here for what they said today. Moving forward, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, Mayor, I want to thank you, Municipal Clerk, the Assistant Municipal Clerk here tonight. You know, thank you very much. Job well done.
Thank you.
Good job. Yes, I have.